So we're going to go ahead and get on with the episode here. Now, this is a weird one because it's going to deal a lot with a bunch of broken links, misinformation, and a simple phrase that I remember and have seen repeated a few times, but now is changed or gone. And this is about an alien race called the Conformers. Now, who are the Conformers? Well, nobody really knows. Supposedly, the information that I came across, and I think this is back like in 2010, I heard about an alien race called the Conformers. Now, what I heard was that, one, they are the only alien race humanity has ever made contact with. There are no Greys, there are no Reptilians, there are no Nordics. The rest of that stuff is made up. The only ones that we have ever run into are the Conformers. 2, they're silicone-based. They are not carbon-based. They are giant rocks. 3, when they talk, quote unquote, it sounds like pebbles dropping into a metal bucket. 4, they are extremely violent and cruel. That was the information I came across. I was instantly intrigued because it was different than any other type of alien race I had heard of. And I remember researching it back then. And I found a couple resources, and they all had pretty much that same set of information. There's not a lot of stuff out there, but it all had those same steps. And it always stuck with me because the idea of, I think one thing that a lot of people forget, or a lot of people don't understand, is that an alien, if they're not from Earth, if they're not like I've said before, UFOs may be from this planet. I think that's more likely than coming from another planet. But if they come from another planet, their DNA would be completely different than ours. The idea of somebody evolving, a race evolving on another planet, having 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, a mouth, is statistically improbable. Here's the thing. If you look at a tree in the fall, if you look at a tree with no leaves on it, with the trunk, and then the branches turning into other branches and turning into other branches, it looks identical to a human's nervous system. When you look at a human nervous system that's been stripped of everything, they have those photos, and it's just like a cadaver, but it's just the nerve endings. That's what a tree looks like, because we share a DNA. We share an evolutionary path. Everything on this planet has shared resources, has a shared origin. It wouldn't be the same on another planet at all. There's different biological factors, there's different environmental factors, everything's different. It's another planet. The only thing that's the same would be dirt. I mean, the fact that it's a ball of matter. And even then, if it's from a gas giant, then again, all that's out the window. So the idea of these reptilians, even though they're reptiles, showing up and be like, hello, stranger, I also have fingers and all this stuff, it's completely ridiculous. But a rock creature, I don't know how they move. See, that was, again, there wasn't a lot of detail on these things. Now, I always found that very intriguing. I wanted to do an episode on it, and for about the past week, I've been gathering resources, and I realized something. They're gone. There's 2 types of web pages that deal with the Conformers. There's dead links. When you click on them, this page has been removed, this blog no longer exists. Which happens. I understand that. But what's weird is some of them are actually like UFO Digest, like some of them are actually like UFO Report. These are websites that are dedicated to this. I get the blog not being around anymore, but the website's still up, but the page you requested does not exist. And these websites, they catalog this stuff. This is what they do. The rest of their pages are up, but nothing on the Conformers. So that was very suspicious. And also, resources, any information on these guys is incredibly rare. So there was a duo of brothers called the Pickering brothers, and they met with someone they called Source A. Now, right now, the Pickering brothers and Source A are the only way you'll find anything about the Conformers. And it's different. The information is different than what it used to be. So the Pickering brothers say that Source A says, yes, there are a race of beings called the Conformers. They're 90% silicone, 10% carbon. They have arms. They sound like pebbles dropping into a metal bucket, but they're also jelly different colored jelly. They're no longer a rock creature. They're known as Stinkies because they communicate via smell. They smell like burnt popcorn, and they can change the smell they emit to communicate with another Stinky. They hate the Greys. They're ultra religious. They've been here for 6,000 years, and the Greys are trying to get them to leave Earth, but the Stinkies have decided to stay because their religious god wants them to convert or destroy us. That information is wildly different than the information that was out 10 years ago. Wildly different. A little more detail in some places, radically changed in others. Even though the information is out there, the Pickering brothers are saying, yes, they are the quote-unquote official race now. Most UFO investigators have never heard of these guys. And I know what you're thinking, Jason, they've never heard of them because they're fake and they're made up. Which is possible, which is likely, let's be fair. But again, it's weird because people whose job is to catalog this stuff and people who make money by hyping this stuff up, you think they would be, there's a new race, they're called the Conformers, or AKA Stinkies. These guys don't exist. These guys, there's not, and when I say don't exist, I mean on the internet. There is almost zero resources on them. And the main resources we have now are completely different than the resources from before. Why? Why? Even for the people who make money believing in this, or for the people who are making it up to make money, they don't know about them. They don't exist. The Pickering brothers are really big in the disclosure community, so it's not like these are just guys who are, it's not two guys with a YouTube channel. These guys are actively pushing disclosure, so they've acknowledged the Conformers, but nobody else is. They're not in these big lists. The web pages are going blank. The information's been changed. What's going on? To be honest, I debated whether or not to cover the Conformers, because I don't believe, whenever I come across stuff and people be like, we wrote this, and the government revealed that this was this, but then the government took it down, so you can't prove it, like golf rumors. They said the political article was up, but then it was removed from the internet. And in that episode, I was like, you can't remove stuff from the internet. It's out there. This isn't here anymore. The resources that I had aren't there anymore. The Pickering brothers account is close enough, so you still see those key details. They also say it sounds like pebbles dropping in a metal bucket. They're not rocks now, they're gelatin. They're not the only species. They work with others, but the initial idea, them being silicone, the name, them being silicone, and the way that they make that sound, that's all the same. So obviously they saw the same source I did. They added stuff on. Did they do that for disinformation? Did they do that because the myth has simply evolved? Or did they do that? Is it possible that this story is being suppressed by somebody? Is it possible that there is a race of aliens called the Conformers that are the only alien race we've met? They're silicone-based, and they're incredibly violent. I mean, anything's possible. But before I started researching this again, if you told me that stuff could get scrubbed from the internet, like scrubbed from the internet, and you couldn't find anything on it after 8 years, I'd go, well, blogs can go out and web pages could go out, and you go, no, Jason, I mean, it's gone or changed. I should say with this caveat that I was able to find bits and pieces of the original description of the Conformers online. But again, bits and pieces. And I found some resources that talked about them being rock-based and stuff like that. One of the websites I had to consult was a foreign website that I had to translate. It was like a Spanish website that I had to translate into English. And that article is very dismissive of the idea. They don't like aliens, and that's fine. It's good to be skeptical. But it's just one of those things, like, I'm kind of speechless. I don't like to do art stories that I can't source. But this one's just going to be a bunch of websites that contradict what I've said, or just have a simple paragraph of what I said, or not much of anything. I would ask you guys to help me on this one. See if you can find out any more information about this race called the Conformers. And let's see if we can dig something up. It could have been erroneous information. Could have been completely made up. But if both of those things were true, why can't we find anything on it anymore? deadrabbitradio@gmail.com is going to be the email address. So yeah, send me anything you find there. You can also hit me up at facebook.com/deadrabbitradio. You can also get us at Twitter, which is Jason O. Carpenter, at Jason O. Carpenter. Let's see what we can find out. Let's make this a team effort. Because I would love, if this turned out to just be some big scam and it came out, and that would be awesome. Like, again, just an answer to the mystery. If we can trace back to see if somebody made it up, if we could see that maybe the Pickering brothers made it up and they've just changed, they've tooled the myth as time has gone on, let's find out. I don't mind getting dismissed. Saying, Jason, this isn't true. And let's be fair. Again, I'm not a big proponent of aliens coming from other planets. I think that's very, very unrealistic. I agree more with aliens coming from another dimension, or aliens already have being here. But if they did come from another planet, they would be completely alien to us. Dead Rabbit Radio is the daily paranormal, conspiracy, and true crime podcast. You don't have to listen to it every day, but I'm glad you listened to it today. Have a great one, guys. That was a clip from our daily podcast, Dead Rabbit Radio. Dead Rabbit Radio is available anywhere that you listen to podcasts. It's daily paranormal, conspiracy, and true crime news. If you want to hear the full episode that this clip came from, check the link below. Please like and subscribe. And hit that little bell, too. That does some magical stuff. Thanks, guys.